Notwithstanding this, maintenance of an appropriate monetary policy stance to lower the monetary policy rate by 350 basis points to 21.5%. The committee will continue to monitor macroeconomic developments and take appropriate policy decisions as and when necessary to reinforce the disinflation process. Now, let me also announce an additional measure on the net open position limits for banks. The decision has been made for the single currency NOP limit, which has been plus and minus 5%. This has been revised to between 0% and minus 10%, which will be effective from the 1st of October. And that meeting, as always, will conclude on 19th November 2025 with the announcement of a new policy decision. I thank you for your attention. Yes, His Excellency said it clearly. He also made it clear that the investigations were ongoing. There's a committee that is working on that. I don't have to preempt their work. When they are done, I'm sure the Minister of Finance will communicate the details to the public, and then we'll know what happens thereafter. So for now, spare me the trouble. The committee will come clear when they are done. Then Maurice, you were asking about the CD being allowed to find its true value. Well, that is true. Excessive volatility in the CD. But yes, you will see movement in the CD, all right, just that we don't want to see it excessively. So yes, the president put it right, that the CD will find its true value. Then you mentioned, Maurice, that businesses were complaining that they cannot get dollars. I'm not sure if that is true. As of yesterday, I don't think there was a single demand for dollars from the banks that was not met. The head of financial markets is here, can confirm. We've been doing this for a number of weeks. And so I'm not sure. I don't think as of today, anybody out there will say that their bank is unable to secure financing for their imports. As we always say, it may be due to some documentation issues or other related issues, but we have to take them on case-by-case basis. We support the markets. The banks themselves also trade among themselves. And through all those channels, we are able to, fund imports. And that's what I can say about that. Then ECHO, drop in reserves. So first of all, you have to put it into context. There's been, a lot of accumulation. But also remember what we have done in the last 3 months. A number of lumpy payments to IPPs, bondholders, sovereign bondholders, that got their money out. These were legitimate, payments that we have to make. And so don't be surprised if you see some dip. But what is important is that the trend is upward. You just have to plot it and look upward. The trend is upward, so don't be bothered at all. Look at it in context. Don't just look at the last 3 months and then get alarmed. Somebody asked about non-interest banking. Yes, Professor Gachi is here. He's been doing an excellent job at it. We've done a lot of sensitization. They are almost to the end. I believe something is going to Parliament, and then thereafter we can get to the implementation phase. Whether we can see licensing of these by the end of the year, we are doing our best. Let's see what happens. As you are aware, Parliament is on recess, I guess. And so when they come back later in October or so, we'll take them and see how far we can go with that. But the commitment remains the same. We are pushing ahead with that effort. Then the last one, Toma, my good friend, the regulatory forbearance that, as you mentioned, we give them up to December 2025 this year. We are not there yet. And so when we get to December, we will reassess, the whole framework, and then we'll be guidance. So again, the last one first, High Street Journal, about remittances. Well, the banks have, they have confirmed that they've observed a decline, in terms of remittance inflows. And so, yes, the evidence is there. Formerly, they were getting more of these inflows, which they were using to support imports. And so earlier in the year, there was quite, a substantial amount of interbank trading. And when that happens, the central bank wouldn't have to support the market that much. Suddenly, the flows have reduced. And so, yes, the evidence is there. But we are working on it. Remember, we introduced a number of measures about a month or so ago. We are beginning to see the dividends from those measures that we have announced. We are beginning to see some of the IMTOs, beginning to, reroute those flows back into the country. And our desire is to see greater levels of interbank market appreciation of the CD may have played a role. Yes, it could have. Yes, it could have. But what's important is that we've taken a number of measures to bring back those flows into the economy. Then the end-year inflation target, yes, we are confident, barring any new shocks, that end-year inflation will certainly fall within the target band. Whether we are revising the end-year target, no, that decision hasn't been taken as yet. What is important is that we achieve that medium-term, target, and then we are able to stay within that target. So we haven't revised the end-year figure for inflation. Then the next question was on the stability of the CD, whether this was considered, by the MPC in reaching this decision. Yes, very much so. If you read the statement, we spoke about, strong sterilizing about those FX measures that was announced to suspend FX withdrawals by the large corporates. For now, it is a permanent measure. We observed that there were certain practices where some of these large corporates who really do not need FX cash, locally, were withdrawing such sums, and then those sums were ending up, elsewhere. And so we met with the banks. I mean, these things are done upon consultations. We met with the banks, we discussed it, and we came to the conclusion that for the large corporates, we can suspend those direct withdrawals. However, if it is FX that they deposited themselves, cash, into those accounts, it's their own money. So they are entitled to it without charge. Then the virtual assets bill, Suleiman, you asked about it. Yes, we've done a lot of work on the bill. The bill is ready. It's now at the Attorney General's department. We are on course with that. Now, the gold hedging program, the head of financial markets department is here. We are on course with that as well. These things take a lot of discussions. You have to look at a number of calibrations. We've gone through all that. We are in the final stages now, and I'm sure very, very soon that risk management tool will be finalized. Then, again, George, you were asking why the markets are not responding to the data that we have. That's my point, exactly the point I always make. We released, the data yesterday, and you could see where the economy is. If you look at our reserves, like I said, look at the data over the last 7 years. Don't just look at, the last 7 months, and then, you go into a frenzy. Look at the data over the last 7 years. You could see clearly that even if you look at it over the past 1 year, the trend is upward. So if you see a little blip, it doesn't mean things are getting out of hand. The trend is still upward. And as I've mentioned, we are entering the cuckoo season. Gold is picking up. remittances, because of the forex measures, the measures that we have announced, we are beginning to see a return of those inflows. So yes, we'll build up our reserves of forex interbank market trading. And so all those measures are very much intended to contain the pressure on the cedi, notwithstanding the fact that we lowered the policy rate. So I encourage all of you, the media, please make use of our data. That should inform you on what is happening in the economy, whether there should be a pressure on the cedi. If you ask me, there's really no reason why anybody, should be anxious about the cedi. Like I said, as of yesterday, every import demand that any of the 23 banks, submitted to us as of yesterday was met. And we'll be meeting this for a number of weeks now. So where is the anxiety coming from? We have enough reserves to support whatever imports that are coming up in the fourth quarter, Christmas season imports, you name it. We have our projected, cash flow table. We figured everything out in our cash flow table, and we have the reserves cover to keep these. So there shouldn't be any anxiety at all about the exchange rate going forward. The breaches were quite several. Diversion of foreign exchange inflows, and I mentioned that. When you take money, those dollars and pounds from our diaspora people, those monies are supposed to find their ways into the nostril balances of our banks, banks operating here in Ghana, so that those flows end up within the system. But we observed that some of them were doing what we call offshoring, when using it for other purposes. And so those found have been sanctioned. Others were also applying the wrong exchange rate, right? And those were breaching the rules, so they had to be sanctioned. There were others that also had settlements when it comes to every market and how it operates. Their licenses were issued to them on condition that they meet those very rules. And so when they breach them, all we have to do is to penalize them so that we bring them to order. And we think that so far, the measures we have announced is biting. We are coming up with some more. The idea is to, enhance efficiency within the FX market. So we will not renege on that at all. Now, the FX issue and withdrawals. So you will notice that individuals can still withdraw from the banks. The notice we put out was only for the large, corporates like the BDCs. Individuals, you are at liberty. I mean, the thing is, even if you brought an inflow or someone sent you money from abroad, the physical cash itself, it makes sense. You can take your cedis. Nobody is at liberty to deduct anything. And if you are an individual, if you still want to pay the commission the bank is charging you and take your dollars, that's your liberty. But remember that the charges or commissions they make you pay, it's actually meant to take. Why do you resort there? They told us the reasons. Together with the Ministry of Finance, we are working gradually on that. We cannot eliminate the black market completely, but they are expected to be operating in the margins, small sums. Somebody wants to send $500 to the daughter at school somewhere through the Hawala or something. That's what we expect of them. But they are not expected to become the main, the mainstay when it comes to the FX market. So we are working on it. We believe that we'll get back to where we ought to be very soon. Someone mentioned the upside risks to inflation. We made mention of a number of them in our policy, and that we are likely to see a continuation of the downward decline inflation going forward. Ban on trading in US dollars, how to enforce it. So it is about the law. The Foreign Exchange Act of 2006 makes it clear. It's clear. The person can be prosecuted. because then it constitutes an offense. If you are taken to a law court, the judge will certainly apply the sanctions that are stated in the law. And we want to encourage people to desist from that behavior. There are some agents, some individuals, some companies that are allowed, to price or to quote their invoices in FX, but that is done in line with the authority or the instruction that we give them. If you are not one of them, just quote in our CD, and it's as good as that. On our part, we will do everything possible to ensure stability. And when I say stability, it's not one figure. People confuse it. Allow it to adjust to a shock, we might be losing reserves to try and, protect the country. So no need to, go into a frenzy at all. It's the normal, framework that we maintain that is working the way it must work.
Memo about the Bat TVXYZ, baby, our Wushabibia. Also, Power 97.9 FM, Wakwaba, at the bar inside politics, Jumedia so. Free Sambre, Akwasi 555 in the MHFS or some of the Fridays edition of Inside Politics, Mede Brill, and to baby, I will be on me patch or catch you near B, none of some can train in near B, none of some can train in near B, some Monfento 97.9 megahertz. Me patch all the nation's capital, Accra and put him. Meaning so would be some part of Ashanti, Eastern and Central regions. So on we now ATB on 97.9 FM. Saso and now more here with TVXYZ digital platform. A free to air. We bet me I should be TB na BBA to me Ako and Kainsa. Me patch satellite TV so a multi TV digger box audio channel. And also you was so sa we bet me a heavy na with TB na BBA to me Akon Kain. Dear me this way Nicholas ya Owusu Olsen. We bet me Afra McKin and Nicholas. Free Sambre call a 555 day me ending come na and some gubamba son yembrum na yemba ba mu rewremu na yen delve into it na yendi ho enkomo ma me fa se the PSM wo twedi ampon yankopon obi osu ntokura no na odi ndedue ache me ne wo kwa mpoma tetema dabodwuma mojedi emu afusan ebiom me pacho bebre me mfa ma production team o mubo machidom did you medie ama ahihye ne kamegu nkrata so ma me so me ba ebe execute ma bibie to me akọ enkan kama pa ma menda Mr. Kelvin Asante menda na se bebre ono no the executive producer for the show saso na Mugabe Mase ono so ebo machidom saso ye ko MCR TV director Mr. Raf Jampo ono no ye TV director ono so direct TV no ma chese bibie tumi kon kansa yakọ obioma yebehu MCR Peter Cranton ono so wo ho Elder Peter Pentecost ni mapa ono so wo ho Abbas so wo ho oboa MCR papa eni omomo MCR hana mekọ sounder Mr. Emmanuel Neti me friend Yima Boduse ono so wo ho bia obeboa ma dwumedi etumi ayekama na sound no wotia watching crystal clear na bo asuma unse no kre sound ma papa ni yetwem mi so a na ye ba TV studios ha ye won kofo bi omoma wo hu no ofie me kire cameras wo ba wo be hu Elvis wa ha me hu Elvis sa so na ye nua edi agama chedehye no na mo studio ha na oba so a we siesie ma me mummen etiridor senshen ye me nua ba Lizzie Tego ono so ye gama che nana pa enti me nua anom enkran fo mo ha nso mo nche me nkran na me almost enemy wo studios ha ye bedi adwuman baby a wo bia no so na se kese nkomo se wo hwemi o se wo tie mi o wonni ho aye ni ho enti baby a wo bia so na se kese pa na enkoma wo papa baby a wo bia enti baby a wo bia mekan say come hwen na memfa information education a wo hia no memfa serve wo inside politics jumedi so social political show a wo fa baby a Ghana ne ho intent na agi baby a no bia so e ka ho asem papa ma memfa nchia kese ma chairman Sofo Osman Dawood ma menchia wo papa wo ko aboss wo chairman NDC ade a omo ye cooperative mining edwuma omo bo ho no ese wani ense de ka kiro enti chairman Sofo Osman Dawood memfa nchia kese nkomo momfa na ase kese so nkomo mo ye maami Abraham papa fi mu no bro madwe na menti ase so woni odwuma fu nia ne chese mo amowo takwa abosso ana boss ward NDC menda mase meda wasene de na wo co-chairman so Delaguda so memfa na ase kese enkoman papa no so ye war chairman wa boss no so menda na see papa minim se mo ye cooperative mining papa mo de no se bia nyensu adwuma rock mining na kwanya mo ye aboa ma aboss youth so enya ho emfa so adi na his excellency John Dramani Mahama oye visionary leader wetumi aba no the cooperative mining they about say youth no mebu na mo krom ho no se mudi na mudi ho mfa so enti cooperative mining obi adi bi ente sa ban dada na do dankwa akufo ado Dr. Alhaji Mahmood ba omiamo e ba ye omo de omo si community mining obekwa na chairman edano organizer secretary na party ankasa we friend ya ye nchendi na omo bo ne sa akọ sa ne mani na enye sa cooperative mining ne de aba say former gudia ewo ikrobia so no o say ikrofo no omutumi nya momfaso enti na mbabu no so de omho ahyem na bosu obi anya kakra de ato no ho enti ibi na chairman Sofo Osman Dawood onene dom boy dwuma kama pa wo aboso a bibi atumi konka enti so omutie mi a ma memfa nchia kese emfema mo papa eno so ade ba ko bio ma mesensi sunu se o nsha men yo say an HIV na spread it HIV is spread like wildfire nti muma yenhwe ni yepa na nse muhu ma numbers a etumi akosoro over 300,000 population na Ghana population no mwenya ono cry omo akọ hospital ni ade ya testimony no mo so omo nko ye enti media meka se chebeboa so obi a betumi akọ no akọ checki wakọ test no we hu ni HIV status we ni bia fan we obi so ana we hu mo obeye enti yenhwe na yenye pa very necessary meka the man himself, the senior political analyst, waboni tinko se ken ma wokana ya papa Alistair Nelson ebetenenka endepa ono so ofidwem ha enti enye easy moma yembo ye homboden na yentume enchekene hu ye status na bibia entume konka biom nyame ya adoma wonim se nche Sunday 21st of September 2025 na saada ne ye ofofida wa Ghana ha bisa say ye de Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of the Republic ono na birthday no nti ye da ye twesi ho a ye de celebrate Dr. Kwame Nkrumah na wonim se afi so nzimememu se aya afasha ye dinti ye kwanzimememu ankrofo ne mpotema esewani ensede ya kache Sunday ni Monday ampaye bedwa nti ehoso na ye nyina no ye de yeni ekre ye nyina ye koda Nzimaland akwaji ye ni meko minim se Alistair beko ye nyina moma ye mbom na ye nkoso ne nko celebrate na ye nkai Dr. Kwame Nkrumah nyame yi ne mo man Ghana no beye ya yenya ho mfaso de ande so ye koso a ye enjoy nti saade no so be koso nti moma ye hye ne so se nyame ya adoma Monday holiday nti Monday holiday say ade no be si Sunday ti ye push akọ Monday until 22nd of September 2025 Monday holiday nti moma ye hye ne so na yenye ne sa ma mentwa me ho se macro pembra beba ense be gu bamba so no ye be delvo ya chechim na wahu na nde nkomo ho fi se nde ye fiada bojaye me ba sesia Yakoya Yasanya Ba inside politics Jumedi na Wasugusu once again your friend Ken Nicholas. Maybe I will be an and semi gubamba sona ye baby di hon komo. Me pese what they was super fame is a wutie radio. Me pese what they weni ebe shemi na we huma air coffee se kasam for yini tuetua. Musa amosha Facebook live Power 979 FM saso na ye TVXYZ Ghana ni na Facebook ni TikTok. Ubetumi ahwe Jumedi etiebi. Uko YouTuber XYZ broadcasting and also ubetumi ahwe Jumedi na wetie bi na bibia etumi akọ enkansa. Na sesia ade ba ko a wo Ghana man mu a wo fa bebi obi aka ho asem na ye hwe na aban no afa estu na koma so anase ne nan so se obeko atia ade a friend illegal mining a ye twa so kan Galamsey no anase illegal mining ye say wo small scale miners a omo document or so omo di dwuma no ebi mo so age document mo document a omo di dwuma no but license omo di dwuma ni na no omo ndi enhyehyeye no so nti wo kwa omuye ni biara yensu no omu pollute no streams ya rivers ne ade no omu se no bebre nankasa na ya ade a ha dwene ye papa na ban no so ayese obeku atia na wahwe na saa niam ni na na yetu ase na yensu ni na ni ate wan fi se nsu ya na yenom enti me ka say minister de ma lands and natural resources honorable Emmanuel Amakofibua ade a wetu hana mo na wato some of the Galamsey sites ato apete Ghana fe na wako akɔhwɛ river banks ahoro no ekwanya niam ye onini team akɔ bebi omukwa Ankoba River nti wa wo hwe kasamfonyini wo be hu se Ankoba River na honorable womukɔ so ana omunam so no na o promise na o kachre Ghana fo nya so ombehwe aboa na titiu omama nsu ni ate yakwatia illegal mine na ekoso oman mu ebiom oni military base no so a owo areas a omo wo river banks ahoro no na omo so akasa military base ni no omo na akasa so omo na amboa na omo yankuntia illegal mine na ekoso na omode say yensuo na omode say mining sase mama yankwe na yankotie ensama honorable Emmanuel Kofi Amaboa oye minister de ma lands and natural resource ne to okoye ne na no din sema oditu dwa mama yentie bimra
from Pristia to Sangoma where the Cobra River stretches is 190 kilometers. For the past 3.5 months our main concentration has been on the land and then on the river. But I want to stress that our interest is on water bodies and forest reserve. We've done a lot of operation on the land and we have shifted now on the river.
You see all this crowd right here. Nobody is planting any food. Everybody here is focused on destroying the water. The people who are doing this have declared war on the people of Ghana, period. They are not simply looking for gold. They've decided to completely decimate the Ankoba River. And they don't care what happens to anybody else. I think this is one more reason why we have to put our money where our mouth is. And I hope I can bring the Minister of Finance, my good friend, here to understand that we need to mobilize all the security forces to stay here permanently because we are at war. As you could see, almost every side of the river had been taken over by illegal miners. Makeshift accommodation, which means that thousands of people are still active, engaged in illegal mining. And what is sad is that you could see that they are basically mining close to the water and then basically discharging all those chemicals in the water, pumping it out and discharging it in. That's really the modus operandi. What was even shocking was that the Minerals Commission and the EPA somehow have also given licenses to some mining companies. I think effective immediately. Those are the guidelines that says that 100 meters from water bodies must change. I think it has to be 1 kilometer far away. That is if there's a need to even give any concession at all.
Enti Honorable Emmanuel Kofi Amabua onena yetene kan minister in charge of lands and natural resources. Ensema odi atudwa no me feel say ade o say ye kon war pa mungamu because ya hadwen hwe ankobra banks no na no na omo wo ho a wo fa bebia pumping machine ne ye ho gold wo ho no hadwen ye nyankobra nko a se me quarter crade of late me quarter crade pa me quarter crade na me fa river praso a wudu be poso a wo ye mbehye minim time at least afa so de so fa so acha and across a lot so fa so acha o rebe ho be poso wonam river pra ayeko hadwini ye papa tano so na nse me ko sunyane no so metano no so aye bibie wo ho se chese yensu akese bebre a yennom na yede ye niema bebre no se an Galamsey na sen ensuo ni na omopolo na minim say excellency John Dramani Mahama oni minister in charge of lands and natural resource Honorable Kofi Amabua behwe asore na omotumi akwetia Galamsey no papa illegal mining no kwan omofa so ye niema no what the hell river and cobra wa woni man cobra nhwema aye ne banks na nanu ni na obekọ na nkofo Galamsey ayeko bebi aniema economy ni se mpanimfo betu sesa na me ka che Ghana ni bia ne se mumma ye nyina no enye his excellency John Dramani Mahama aban na enya ye nyina ne kambanya ye part nti yenye me ye betumi ye edi aboa aban no sa na ye nyina no mumma ye nya na montu ebetumi aye edi aboa na bibie etumi akonkan ye nim se ye the blue water gas aba omo ye informant de but yes no kakra ebetumi ayede aboa no yenyemwa ko wonso monso ni nipa insuna ni seya enye sebi wa nipa baako eye nyina se duru mribi na chi Ghana Water Company entumi produce nsu bia anoma na kase ye import nsu a nsu bo be ye den ma ekoso na hadwene nti moma ye nyina on hands on deck yentumi nya adwuma na yemfemboa na yensom yentumi ntu illegal mining na se because me kono hadwiri yi papa na ya homete atete sem nti ma efim no na minim se Honorable ama Kofi Boa Emmanuel mo ye bia na betumi ayelde na yenya result etumi aba emda aban ne ba enche but obo no hombode nti we de yenya yemmoa na yentumi hwe na fight against Galamsey and illegal mining na bibia entumi enkonka meraho mehwe river and cobra meraho pa yi papa weekendi with many chance my memo e celebrate Dr. Kwame Nkrumah na me kofi ahomati nti moma ye ina ye mbra mediama moma ye ina ye mbo ye hombode na mbra bi ka mediama ma funu se minua nti mediama ye binua nti ma me ka che minua no na na se moma ye nye na ye mboa na bibia ntumi enko enkansa ye kwaye nima na the CEO the gold board and our gold board ora Samije Mfi lawyer memo aha area na wedwuma pa wo board lawyer Samije Mfi oye the CEO at the gold board na webisa omo criticize aban no and omo criticize gold board as a 5 months on a gold board babade but nkofo criticizing a gold board and a Galamsey problems yemfa bimbo gold board be existence 5 months ani meboana enti say what the Galamsey man si what the bobo Samije Mfi a enti asibi anim ana meboa ti asibi anim gold board by 5 months ani yan hwe adwumade omoye gold board nso so Galamsey so enti what is a bi mo kind of gold board na no so mo no gold board ye mo betumi aye aboa na aban so yenti sa gold board Galamsey nsem de free gold board ide say enye say ye keka na wo hwe aban na wabo no homboden aban ni deserve so say ye bon nsem ma no ye support no wo sa okwan hu fi sa aban na ye adwuma ye papa wo hwe no commitment level fight against illegal mining na aban no ayade nti ebe hia say ebeboa na ye nyina ye nti God boys ansem na mokaka na say no ora Samije Mfi his excellency John Dramani Mahama Emmanuel ama Kofi Boa edwuma mo ye no ese wani ensa de catcho and okopie mu wo Joy FM no mu di nkomo no di ye no mepese ebekọ na ekutie bi yentie mbra
Authority levels have improved So that is why I say we must analyze this holistically. Let me give you examples. I just took this data from the Water Resources Commission this morning, and I'll share with you. 2024 turbidity levels, they collect data twice a year, February and July. February for the dry season, and they do July for the wet season. And I wanted to see the trend 2024-2025. In many cases, it has worsened, you're right. But in many cases too, we've seen improvements. And I'll give you typical examples. Number one, River Densu at Manguase. The wet season, July of last year, the turbidity level was 256. Today it is 44. 256 to 44, Kojo, is an improvement. River Densu in Sawam. July 2024, NTU level 59. July 2025, NTU level 19.1. This is an improvement. Come to River Nkobra, Dominase. July 2024, the turbidity level was 3,720 NTU. 3,720. Today it is 2,920. That is a reduction, which is good. River Tano, Elubo. The NTU, the turbidity level in NTU for July was 1,010 NTU. As I speak to you now, it is 834. River Tano, Seshi, NTU level of 12.3, July 9.57. July 2025. So I give you 2024, then I give you 2025. Okay. Barikese, River Ofin, NTU level July last year 2024 41.9. This year July 2025 18.20. Dadieso, River Bia, very significant improvement. July last year the turbidity level was 1,190. July this year 372 NTU. Bamboy, Black Volta, there's a lot of illegal mining there. NTU for last year 52 July. This year 4.79. So you are right that in some cases,
Many cases,
you're right, is worsened. In other places too, it has improved. And the answer is simple. You cannot fix an age-long problem in 8 months. In 8 years, you saw how a government deliberately promoted Galamsey. I mean, our social contract with the people of Ghana is a 4-year social contract. So I say, give us the opportunity to fix the problem within the 4 years we've been given, because we have shown enough commitment and we deserve some plaudits and support for the commitment we have shown.
Enti lawyer Sammy Jemfi the CEO de my gold board ono ana wache transemu no enti Ghana for the no na gold board na Galamsey problem no so de no mo yom kan bi ni I don't know wache transemu no enti meni wina no say bonsem e de ma ban His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ene na ban abo edwuma yie papa omo ba ye nche but okon makono omo ye bi nipa ya ade osayeyi nti be hia se ye bo ma baso na ye jai na omuntumi nkuntia ne no nipa ya ade a osayeyi nti ye mbo oma baso ora Sami Jemfi bebi a wo bia so ye bo wa baso yie pa oso wabo adwuma with gold board babo ade ekwan a wafa so ma gold board ama mine nya mfa so no minnim ma yen kan chiro bebi o wo bia no nyame nhira no nka ho ma nkwatenten ma wa hoden peso na wonim die ene eye dwumedi a wo didi bua gold board no ye de papa His Excellency John Dramani Mahama 1.2 anto ho gold board say bi akwatena ho keke but no nim me wo mo betumi aye nti kwan a wa ma agency na na say institution na ebo adwuma no nyame nhira papa koso no bo adwuma na for boa on my conquer Ghana sir. The National Youth Organizer demand the New Patriotic Party NPP your friend Salam Mustafa onona dodo na friend SM and normal press conference kakrana press conference no omo de betu dwa press conference omo chere upcoming demonstration because 23rd of September against Galamsey with the NDC government inti bibia and then omo kwatira ho ye ntobo omo de end omo ntumi ankointia omo ntumi anya ho hwe but aban bi by there how many months in 8 months ni mudi emrika gaga say enya ne dey nti enkonkotie omo tobo ni dede huna omo ye tata Ghana for yenkonkotie sansem na salam Mustafa odetu dwan yentie mra.
And that never again should politicians use lies, deception, lofty promises to win elections and do nothing, because we all believed in the reset agenda. That is why the overwhelming majority of the good people of Ghana voted for John Dramani Mahama and the NDC, that they will end Galamsey in 1 week, declare a state of emergency, stop every form of ill that they perceived under the NPP, and make Ghana a better place. Minianum, is Ghana a better place? No! What giant strides can we see this country make in the last period? The very things they campaign against are the very things that they are doing, even far worse. That is why I told you that we have sold our color TV and bought a black and white. I thank all of you, and it is my fervent belief that Tuesday we will all gather and show to the world our unbroken resolve, our tenacity, and our true spirit that we can't be broken. As the youth, not just of the NPP, but the youth of Ghana. I thank you. Minianum. Yenyabre pa.
Yenyabre ko.
Yenyabre ko. Ma memboni tofa. Yedamu nyina ase. Say yetun sa efemo amaji yeso. Na minianum. Tuesday. Yebeye oyekire kese e won kan ha. Mesro bia say yen piembra in our numbers. Na yenye demonstration enfantre NDC aban say momon fire say abe. Abona omo she Ghana for no omo di bon so. Omo jai omo djuma e na omo di omani esi NPP for so. Omo chichi em crofo enfa kwan paso. Yenina yehu kwan omo fa so che fanti comedy eni yenuanom omo TikTok so edi nkomo die nti omo akoche omo MPP bebunu yenina yenim se omo ye social media any activism edima MPP Amadu Zakor Gordon Asarbediaku se Obama Adenta Kumi chairman abronye omo nyina ya chi omo na ye the police huna aban no ahyeda ona omo ahye police for kutupa aban no kasa eni abadaye omo de bebu man no omo too many AC MPP for so say we deal with them inti bibi kakra na ya chi MPP for na ya dia kotum we NDC ni de wotimi bibia na wo go free me ekoso e wo man we mo no enye ebohu efri say omo de ye yen MPP for area million on the back home be anything adani adia aya asede edi sie nyina so se aban Ghana for akosa line ato abama no se on kai nenti Ghana for ato abama no yen kai aban no se omo no promise yen reset na reset na enini photo enye bowe no mo she Ghana for
ti Salam Mustafa dia no oka no abamu 8 months ani mo ye di 8 years na maamu Ghana funtie ni o ye di 8 years na maamu 8 years mo ntumi amfa anya hwe 8 years no aban ba ye 8 months ani guso to oye nhihye Galamsey ya yetumi ehu bi ye hu say lands and natural resource minister in charge ordinary achemo oto no hwe bebi a ese na ba yensase ne yensu mutu hanamon wo ye dede hunu anase Professor Frimpong Boateng report ne ba mante yes president in the backyard din fichie akura ye tubi motu Galamsey akase party yeska etu ache enkofu excavators mu ye na nya flying excavators a etutu ye won fa bi embassy aviation madina ho na entutu man ton wendi amfa bi kran tumi ne central ni bi a no war station bi a ye friend o wenkran ha na account ma ye hu mekoe mo ma ya de ne poto na ban na ba no ton bo ase atoto ne me ya ye ni ya mo se mo ye de demonstration na anga so kasa krom se na nse masa no ya short of words o hu nsam onka o se friend say Salam Mustafa Ghana for MPP de MPP de em say nyese o mo ka bibia yetie 8 years ye hwe and that's obi by 8 months ototo niaman mo se mo ye de mo kwa demonstration mo yi mo nko ye be hwe om no obi amba demonstration and say mo kokra o ye che pure water sachet water ye do so se mu nipa amoko ededi amoko ye nche ne nipa amoko demonstration na wo hwe sachet water wo to ba ko a wo kan 1 2 3 a edo so se mu amoko mo nkwe Ghana ni bia sebiwa na drinda form oni meko ohwe meko no anya de obedi machi because mo 8 years mo ntumi amfa anya hwe obi ba your friend saying 7 months and 8 months togbe mo ma ya so nkwa didi kwasi asem ne kwasi akeka ne mo ese moye na moye eni ame bi ho a time wanga sa no party no yese on be national ekura your friend say national elections a we national officer kura we lose ewie as a national officer we lose ewie de hunu no moye nche mo kwan sa moye ba Ghana ni bi ensoso mo so obi abetena aban mu just 8 months what in 8 years one ye hui na nkwasi asem na motete wa mudi time kran nsem bi se kura nyese so o se friend Salam Mustafa mama yempem kwayenim baby adriam said apomuden hon komo na yede ba na apomuden komo na yede ba no in fact me de ne crow ha na maka ne kra ne se ne kra na wo mu ne se doctor no be kasa no aye doctor me ankasa betu anamon akono ho mahwa kwan ofa so ye nduro ohwe nipa na manum nduro ne bi so ye bema na sabi wo ho din wo mpam abafoma me kanfo sa papa ya mawo so we oba na infection say how we bema na infection say how infection to me ha ma na sabi wa na echese sent na agi baabia oba no room okọ mu say osimesi na wa bai wankasa kra no wo ferry because we betumi ahore you see detergent na niama ahore na still now na aye bibia wo ho candidiasis it's now ho cha we ba den kaba and san infections ahore chlamydia na how me pacho gonorrhea syphilis sa infections ahore na no me kanfo papa ya ma na yare ahoro so a obetumi ahwe aboa ade anyame ehia so ene sa ade no na sebio yare ma sebio to sebia wono dofo kompem kra na eya wo ne eya na sen be sane ko ne meye no eya na obibia wo ho what I say we bema at least or so when you done no to me my voltage drop or baso de eya no se me nya atenkata agasm wonya bi da e wode tie so wonya voltage drop entini na na eto se bia na e wode tie but betumi aka cho say doctor menini bedi nkomwe wa beni so what's it doctor agbozo nka doctor agbozo woko eye kwashima close to eye chief palace do wenya so ho community 25 oyo bia wa beni ye enti nkoma menini bedi sumedo no yiwa sum ye neti wako doctors bebrewe ho hwe metumi aka cho say we are exceptional o demufua doctor akwaba
meje was okay
bibi aboko de
nyankopo ado
e de nyame ase eye me de say obi a me direct him to your place bia no or the good news no de ba we secret ne say boy enkomo abozo
me ba che you we da say ma me fa kwanya we so na me nchia wona wo hwe me ne wona wo ti me nyinara na ena no ena papa bia no adi fie be 77 years so duru no say wo hwehwe agbozo ena ye kan say me kan say me ana metiwe no was na abrantie say dia me ya de oba dasa na papa ne ba ya ye de ne fa treatment mu wie ye no ono aban no say o si awoyo uni madru uni mfom papa ya shase na nipa a wode ma me no ebro adwene ene ntiase so na enkrofo bebri ena nyankopon nam mekitikiti we so abrantie te se me so na ye de save awade ye de save mpratwe a enye agbozo heba clinic yes no man has an expiring date me moto no me se bema wumu ya ubema engu eno ene me moto no enti se uye chinyigifo se ugitumu me se no man has an expiring date bema ngu ya bema ngu enti se umu ye no ubema ensese ewu uye bema nko ade betimi aka hyewa no yade etubi sane wa yahye ye no enu bi ena maka hyewa na moto no mpo no aka ni nyina no man has an expiring date bema umu ya ubema ngu ena untwem bema ntwem agise wewu agbozo heba clinic ayare no bebre na yesa na men start ene emfiri yade bi te se ahuntutu any obi anakoma ebony periperi obi ahonam start to ana se waposo etai eye oya ye friend potokasem se rheumatism na ebi wo ha na high blood pressure ena eye wo sa onante ha na wabre waposo nyina ayemre edu anadwoa na sebi unsa emu akwhye ho a utini mu a enye yi unan ekohye mu na upeja utini mu a enye yi mepacha unipedua na ebo kokose intiri na edi moja efri akoma no koma adwene na asane aba nipedua na nkai nimu no eho ya atochima enti wo kire wo se pe wedru na ye enti se owo problem bi na sabin preduyasa ubu onante kakra no wabre na nani so ebri no na waposo nyina ayo mre ebasa oye week unhu de wonye edu anadwo ebasa akra o de wapom tumi wa na se untini mutumi wa ma untumi na me pa cho ba agbozo heba clinic ayebebo na wo sa severe general pains and body pains no kra no sexually no etumi affect mo erections o ye bema if you say intini na edi efrusane na bema no so a supply moja na bema na nye binadi asori no eno ena mu nyina bia problems aba hwi enti se ohunam etahwu ana se edu anadwoa na onan onsa ayetitiriti obi wo hono mo a wo hye mpabo akra no a ne nan litimi yetitiriti ama mpabo ne free nan a wo hunu oni mu pose mpabo afri ne nan pepa cho ya de kase ena pese bo o hono mo a na onsa baako e wo so sana ejai wan hwe ya na enwodwoye ena eba bebubu egu hom pepa cho se bia na eye osa wo ana utifa epae epa kire osa obipi no ekosoro pepa cho so sa problems nyine bia o de beba agbozo heba clinic na ya hwama be me biara na be biara wo sa ho na matutu ana se waposo no untidi mu taahwe no obeba agbozo heba clinic ye beboa enkra ha ye wakwahema na be nkwahema na hemfie no a ɛna tema community 25 Savannah Junction Kumasi yɛ wɔde kyɛm so main 5 Old Insurance Junction wow wɔhwɛ television so open sa Agbozo Dr. Agbozo me numbers egu so na mmom no the edi kan ɛyɛ enkran hanom no yɛ bɛn kwahye na ahemfie no obɛfrɛ wɔ 0241 75 0282 0241 75 0282 frɛ na ne manese for no enkasa anase the etoso mienu no eye Kumasi de no eye 0553 41 7752 0553 417752 and tema community 25 is 0557 402696 0557 402696 Dr. Agbozo your numbers eno enti wa was problems ya maboso no na edua naju ebi ayebo ya de ni dia unim but ma kire signs and symptoms no se edua naju na onan onsa na se wiakora no onan no onsa onante kakra pe no abre eyo setna se wani so ebriu e ma wo petwa hwe e pa ocho enye se wotwe na ebo hwe fom a wanhwe ya onsa anye ni pa bium sa ma wano anche a na ebi a onsa e ba behu ana onan ba ko bejuju ana se ebi mpo a na watu wana namnum ewo nsiedo it is o sa problem si na ema sa san o tifa eta pao o nine tititi unsa ta tititi wo hana o nine esa unsa ewo so se champaboa hu ana se bu a je se wanye wantoto unsa sa no nine a udi su hɔ no mu a na emu ye oya ne nyina ne se o de beba Agbozo Herbal Clinic ye beboa na ya hwam ye o machines ahodo ba ye be test na ya hwe yade ne amon waduru akwa akɔ na ho ato ɛna yade etoso mienu a ye sa ne pa ye hemorrhoid kokobo ye frɛ no kokobo obi a ogya wo nan ana wo kokobo epie e aba abonten saa ya de we maka sɛ etumi eye obi mu ama etomini bi a ɔte hɔ no ma na nsuo ɛsane no ana sɛ cause discomfort wo nipadua no ma ogya wo na wie kura no a wamfa wo nsam pia ɛno anka sɛ ntumi nkɔ ɛna obi wɔ hɔ no mo nso a se eba bete ho no mokra etimi hyehye no ama sebi opeso ogya ne nan kra na wosuru eduta mokogya ne nan na aboni hu ana se ensuo na egu na netimi ma nsuo kra fi wase ana otu ho no moba embabu ana ebon kankan na pampan wo etimi fipia otu ho no na eye wo ya saa kokobukuro ya atumi chia wo bisisi na kokoburo de ma na yehu wo mu ne se oya abrante na echiw na ema wo sisi yade no a wampa mu ya wunyini ana echiawo because se bebia ebeya wo ya no mpese obechia ho akọ enti de bia obechia akọ wani beba ho so a ubenyina fidu mpanyin fie bi so no ubon sa afi no wachia ukuntu mu na wo basora enye kokobo etumi ye saa de no kokobo kuro ya na 7 previous etumi ma mema bibiri eye mere won pem ti se wo hemorrhoid ana kokobo ya de hawa nyankopon ya adoma ochina kwahye man ye adwuma din temafo ye adwuma Kumasi ye adwuma ochira nyankopon ya adom etena so kwahye man be kwahye man Chiefs Palace na ba betomi ankasa mi kase ya me Dr. Agbozo ba betomi ankasa enti se wo problem ya mi ka bia me pa cho frame me wo kwahye man be Chiefs Palace na 0241 750282 0241 750282 ena mu wo Kumasi ya 0553 417752 0553 417752 and at 0557 402696 prostate ya de bi na ba beda so eja wo ne Johnson nkiti uko gina ho kra Johnson no tumi ma na eya na mrantie ne mrantie ade bi asema meka ne se ya de nchi ye nto ho no mu ya ye nto anamo nko hospital ana ye kwa yaresa bia enu ni mistakes ya ye mema ye taye enti bema bi wo ho no mu a obeba se de no ba beduru nchi na prostate na choki ama Johnson okra ntumi ma na ya ase nyina so a na afi usu se Johnson ne kem na untumi nyu so a ya che wi asese ken de ato mene bema prostate obama prostate glands na ayekese na wo PSA won check na eno abeka bum na prostate na ho na obedwo so a entumi mfam ma no etumi ma waya ase so a na se wa mpene ntemu a wa hwe kura betumi agi won kwan from sem efri se ebeye wo ya na severe pains ebema wo no echen sebi oba wo kokko enti se unhwe me na prostate signs ebema wo hu se wonya bi ana se prostate na kasa only from the age of 30 kura na e wasa wo ta check from time to time acha ye busumi nsia wo so check your prostate no ehu hia ye papa ewo emema ho me ba cho enti se bia ujunso enkitinkiti junso no ko gira ho no ma emma bebre prostate ne de ye ne se emma juso emma bebre obi o se doctor me de me ko junso prostate ne bi junso bebre na bi junso emma wa sugar anase urinary tract infections and to ma junso bebre na mom no prostate de tie ni eno junso no eba enoso obon se ojunso bia enche na yebse sa kwadunso okwa age se wo sa chimansa na junso no bia ba ena abon se wodo be ma be hye we yimu kra na junso no asafo enti ni nyina ya de agbozo heba clinic de ba ye be san ya de infertility se infertility hawa infertility hawa na o ye be ma wo low sperm count o ba agbozo me nchen ya me pa chona o ba bremi kube insuo kube mi ensansuo ewo to abako na kosua miensa edase efie ana se portrait fabre Dr. Agbozo na me fanye truma it is our low sperm count wa pa wo na emma na o china nyakopo ya adama ye special treatment for aware for both male and female o ba na o do yiri ka ho ba special treatment ana se special discount na ye de be mamo enti frame was 0241 kwashiman ye be ahemfie no a 0241 750282 0241 750282 and your Kwashiman Kumasi 0553 417752 and Atema 0557 4026 96. You see, no man has an expiring date. Premature ejaculation. You better not. Why masturbation? That amount member seven the boss one are listening. You better show. And now you penny from the age of 60, 70 years. Echo. Obema seven hormonal insufficiency in the bar. And then Obama sorry. Now your back will be an attack for me. You better show. Oba menstrual cramps and I say menstrual disorder and a pains no abba. Me pacho to an amambra Dr. Agbozo menchen. The entire say ya Brian chain say. I was see a test ni he ya chrono and send you with dry the bemam. And on a count when tea to an among the Brian chain. Me pacho chilling me at 7 o'clock a.m. anopa. Nay upon 5 p.m. Me pacho first come first serve. Into Bomodi and so china by 7-8 more day. Now about no do na waba na ya sound ya dear. Baby, I'll show me dear freebie and me pacho. Yes, no man has an expiring it. Dr. Agbozo me pacho. Ye be sound ya dear my bear say magic. Enti mo baby, I'll show me if you were castle, who a bri, who a denta, who so many massive crobble, who a him northern region, Ashanti region, who you mean Niamabo Emma was saving creative Michiachemo, Western North Fue, Michiamo creative. Say we also had more siding in Amo, move from winning. Enchire Kumasi Dicham so main 5 Old Insurance Junction. Enti mo amuben Kumasi no anamu ebi amuben obuasi hon munyinala. Mo be frɛ 241 750282 anase 0553 417752 tema 0557 402696 nyame adom ochina no me pacho Monday holiday but ye adwuma Agbozo Herbal Clinic ye holiday de biarada Agbozo Herbal Clinic ye adwuma na mo chia special day special treatment for hemorrhoid premature ejaculation rectal dysfunction and problem ta abobo to nyina de ba ye behwem numbers in the good screen so no me bobo na ma sorry Kumasi 0553 417752 and you ditcham so Old Insurance Junction and Accra here 0241 750282 and Kwashiman and Tema Savannah Junction Dowenya Road 0557 402696 voter region unyina which am same time next week ebesesha
Mamenda Dr. Agbozo asebebre enti yento anamon konkoje ayarhwe na bibia ento nkonka bebi edri yenja aboafo nkra to ombra ye ba ye wa Lister Nelson wa ha oye political analyst onye political analyst keko senior political analyst so na ye bete eye David Worry Brown oye senior lecturer wo eye ATU ekukuda mi na mi no mo bedi djuma mami ntwa me hombra sisia.
The National Petroleum Authority hereby cautions persons engaged in illicit storage and trading of petroleum products to comply with the regulatory requirements to operate in the downstream petroleum industry. The NPA Act clearly stipulates that no individual shall engage in any commercial activity related to the importation, exportation, re-exportation, shipment, transportation, processing, refining, storage, distribution, marketing, or sale of petroleum products in the downstream industry without first obtaining a license from the NPA board. Failure to secure the necessary license and properly regularize operations will result in confiscation of petroleum products, prosecution under the law, and decommissioning of facility. For more information, contact the National Petroleum Authority on 0302 550 380. You can also visit our head office located at Jolu off the N1 highway or any of our regional offices.
Na ede na ya obeyi a oda former son here funu emunumuni.
Oh, Mr. Entry, also yare ya titi bi ben fie pi nanso ne yam nyono da se me chiro no ahodo amato a me hunu hwe a ebe ya nwanwa.
Menyi ni se what ulcer tamfo hexa capsules any hexa mixture yanum bom kotia ulcer no bia ma no anom anka ne ho ato no dadaada ulcer dro de eno ne hexa capsules any hexa mixture
Ankom ni nchiremu
ulcer ye kura eto ye funu ene ensunu mu etuma wo ye funu ekeka wa wogye wo ho a enyi ulcer etumi ema wo ye cheko ebra wadidi awie so how eye ulcer de a kope hexa capsules any hexa mixture nanum bom na ho ebeto
Pedudu etu a ko okanshi drug lane Kumasi Dani Herbal Takradi AA Mensa Anafre 02038228855 Apefo abatanya wama won mofra nofo ene mofra woni mfie bi mienu enka ho Haxa capsules ene ne mixture
ulcer tamfo edie age edwadie nkrato yi atom.
Hi. Now let me tell you about Safari Valley Eco Resort, the first of its kind in West Africa. Upon your arrival, you are introduced to your butler, who plans your itinerary.
We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park.
So many activities, all in the same premises. Visit the gym or the stables, they have it all. At my break, I'm able to practice my putting.
We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife and how to interact with them.
They used only electric vehicles here. This creates a serene environment. I'm told it's over 1,000 acres. My cabin here sits on 2 acres with a large terrace space overlooking my private swimming pool. Now this is royalty. They have their own farms, thousands of fruit trees. I can also have my lunch here at the waterfall. Quite a beautiful place you have here.
Visit Safari Valley Eco Resort in Ghana, bringing you closer to nature.
Nkrumah Fest 2025, a journey to Nkrumah. Come, let's celebrate Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's birthday and holiday at Nkrumah from the 15th to the 22nd of September. Honorable Amako Fibua, MP for Lembele and Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, in partnership with the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Honorable Ablaji Fagomashi invites you to Nkrumah Fest 2025. Come and experience a symposium, candlelight procession, football gala, Deborah of Chiefs, street carnival, lots of food and drinks, and a musical concert with performances from PSC Esther, Nasi, Obapa Christie, Jack Alolomi, Freddie Merwe from Cote d'Ivoire, Akable, Zimake, Jeduble Ambule, Black Rasta, Kofi Kinata, Ekche, Top Nation, and watch out for a big surprise. For enquiries, call 0244-498-796 or 0277-350-244. And Nkrumah Fest 2025. Unite, celebrate, enjoy. See you there.
Obrebo eye edwumada. Ebwa eyam eduane. Ebwa eyi insa free ni peduane. Na ebwa woni pedua ma etena ho yie. Nanso wonim se niema a yedi na yenom. Timi ma brebo ye edwumaden sen pote.
Mehuda. Me brebo ye edwuma pa. Ebia se mitumi ye bibi bo me brebo.
Ani and nothing what the left it from the Moses Clinic we have our center about herbal food supplements. What says it pa the brebo ama e ye edwuma ye.
Na ye edwuma.
Fatopa ye no anopa ne enwumre. Na eboa ma brebo ye edwuma ye. Sane ebe ya ebetimi anyam aduane a wodi esiesie ni peduane mu eyi mu finsi ye.
Eno na me brebo kia pa.
Ubenya Live Kit or pharmacy, herbal shops, ne supermarkets are a bell. So what do those way to up? 0244 06 8447. Live Kit, wow bread war, wow nipedia. A draw you any mapping for a ma emma or manufo, ne for our 1 year in fear to me. FDA JD Cratui atum.
The serene environment fits into the goal of the school, which is simply to provide excellent educational foundation for your ward's development before they commence primary education. At first glance, clearly you will see why the school is called Hebron Hills International School, as the building stands tall overlooking town. With a Montessori style, we have experienced and dedicated staff and trained teachers. Our small sizes classrooms are meant to enhance teacher-focused approach where children get one-on-one attention from the teacher. Hello there. We are open at 7:30 a.m. and school closes at 2:30 p.m. After school care is from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. while early drop-off can be arranged at 6 a.m. Hebron Hills International School is located at Midye off the Nsawam Road. Locate us with GP postcode GW0688 GA West and GPS code 06884870. You can contact the school and make further inquiries on 050-876-2375 or call the office directly on 0302-918768. Email us at hebronhills.school@gmail.com. Hebron Hills International School. Excel and shine.
Masama wakwa babiom de ba TV XYZ so baby awa wo hwe me bia wo so tie power 97.9 FM and there fiada and the Friday's edition of Inside Politics make us say kukudam na jinkonya atena so ayeba na yebedi ensama egu bamba so no ho komo ye wo Mr. Alistair Nelson or a senior political analyst of Hasaso na lawyer David Wewe Brown or no a senior lecturer or ATU ekukudami na me no mo ebedi edwumen anti mama makwaba na wo so a wo fie wo hwe wa wo fie tie baby a wo tie ana wo hwe bia so nya abotre tenase tie ana jakonya didem na hwe ne tie nsema ye ba be delvo wo show we so na min sansa na ebobo 555 no na we mse no kre aha na Ghana kasa aha na Ghana tie Alistair Nelson mama makwaba Bibi aboko de me ko ba yin shy but na when me communicate ni ade bibi aso ye boko mo paibo
papa so dawas
yes bibi kama pa amen amen
I was impressed when your family was reading the tribute to your father, especially was it your sister?
Yeah, my sister.
And I like the way you took a backstage to allow the women.
Senior man,
you are an affirmative guy, I believe that.
Me the memo into my memo mo kwai no mo go money. Me da se papa. Lawyer Wewe Brown bibi abako de.
Oh nyame ado.
I'm saying say me fro bia na bar conference. Upper West upper East no name. We say okupi sunya ina. E was bako de.
Yeah, bar conference no wa. Timi da kwenya ebe chia lawyers especially.
Okay.
Lawyers na mo pega na yie. Amu kanu kre. Se Ghana benya ne mpunto. Mi chia His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Okay.
And Attorney General Jumapa Obone Party Executives Momo Julius Debra ya Chief of Staff Juma Obo Chano and I'm paying for all the ministers of state.
Okay.
And I also we come and me Uncle Jao so wabo homodin anya baby pa
dear
de papa kra esia why dear
I mean sure
why
Charlie talk me say lawyer so I mean sure talk o tell different level kra I mean sure
say we are brothers what are brothers for
yes
yenyanka we could have done better could have been there
UK
you should na nyame be
okay you better ask pa
na me chairman Alistair fireman
I say
yeah
Alisa say niam bi koso na yanhwe yi a na ye de eye kutu adane that the scientific Ghana National Fire Service bibi ekoso wo ho efa na omunsa asensem bi na say uswe tuwa na mon kakra me pese wo bebiem ma koso na Ghana National Fire Service nsa asensem no
yo me da seni akwanya odi amame unya me edempo ne bai me nam Laboni Children's Home
okay
na BBC o me nko Chinese embassy wo me ko ya ebu wo na ebu no
Chinese embassy
wo na ebu ne fie no chief fire officer dia Owura Blankson Chinese embassy Owura Blankson na team no free
okay
into free mu no kuno buy no wankotrem Ghana National Fire Service force omu renovate chief fire officers residence from 2006 up until now
okay
inti na me wanwa inti ye bisa mu no na say that sale of that land was initiated in 2021 yes and nipa nso omutechi allegedly what you say ewo Bobika the chief director of the Ministry of Works and Housing Nidia Bemu Reverend Yawosei Nidia Bemu Steve Yawosei Nidia Bemu say oni Lands Commission Phobi allegedly one pepra and one other guy be omo ayeden akonaivi kanana and omo catch fire service for say they'll relocate them, they shouldn't worry.
Hey.
How is that possible? You see how the fire service has been neglected over the years.
Okay.
I ban a free or in 8 years. One more fire tender back. Or no fire service in so only quarters will be to say your police quarters, your immigration quarters, or no only quarters will be out.
And
the workers they have to rent wherever they are. Now say yet near 20 fire officer residence by this time. Under a reset agenda where we want to reset the fire service. Yes, see Ora Wahi. Where is Ora? Is it because Ora was a vehicle that was set up to stop all their nonsense when it comes to land? Has the vehicle stopped in the middle of the road? That is why they have come back to come and do what they are doing. And do know, omu bu woni here no. Omu amferi, omu sakwa bae, no mu ba be bu dine go. So ma to dine no. It me na make the chief director let